welcome to the Carey Center in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Tonight on the PAC Sports Network, it is the PAC Men's Basketball Championship game. The St. Vincent Bearcats, the top seed, taking on the second-seeded Thomas More Saints. I'm Randy Gore along with Justin Piles for tonight's contest, along with our producer David Singer and our cameraman Don Sluka tonight. Exciting action to be expected. We were here, these same seats last weekend, last Saturday. It was the same two teams. They went to overtime. St. Vincent outlasting Thomas More for the victory. It's a rematch. These teams split. One home win for each. It's the rubber match tonight, and it's for all the marbles. A trip to the NCAA tournament, automatic bid on the line.
Yeah, it seemed like that game last week was just the big game of the year to see who would be the top seed and who could potentially host this game here tonight. Obviously, St. Vincent won that by 9 in overtime, and now we're back here, and that game a week ago looks like small potatoes compared to this one. Automatic bid to the NCAA tournament and conference championship on the line tonight. Both these teams fired up. This crowd is going to be fired up momentarily as soon as we tip this game.
They're already fired up. Just imagine once this ball gets into the air, tipped off to start for the PAC championship. Well, let's tell you a little bit about how these teams got here. Thomas More, they're 23-4 overall, 14-2 during the regular season in conference play. St. Vincent 22-5 overall. They were the regular season champions with a 15-1 PAC mark. Thomas More had a 12-game winning streak before playing here at St. Vincent last Saturday, falling in the regular season finale, but then rebounding in the PAC tournament. The Saints defeated Geneva 82-60 in the quarterfinals, and then topped Teal 86-80 in the semifinals. However, it did not go down all that easy. In the win over Teal in the semis, Thomas More rallied from an 11-point second-half deficit for that victory. Junior forward Brandon Housley led the way with 22 points and 8 rebounds, and DeCarlo Hayes had a team-high 23 points. And when you can overcome a deficit as Thomas More did on their home floor, and actually, if you think back to last week, Thomas More overcame a second-half deficit, an even bigger deficit, 16-point deficit, to send the game to overtime last week against St. Vincent. When you're able to rally from behind like that, and again, referencing the Teal game in the semifinals, obviously has to swell up the confidence coming in here today.
Yeah, that separates the good teams from the great teams. Any good team can get a lead and sit on that lead, but the great teams are never out of it. They can always come back. St. Vincent's seen a little bit of adversity too, trailed in the second half in their latest game against W&J in the semifinals out here on this very floor. So both these teams know how to get it done, playing from ahead, playing from behind, and that's why they're in this game here tonight.
And talking about the Bearcats, they have won 11 games in a row, 14 of their last 15 in the tournament. The Bearcats beating Waynesburg in the quarterfinals 72-62, and down W&J in the semifinals 85-75. But both of those games were much closer than the final scores indicated. And you talked about the W&J game. The Bearcats actually trailed 66-61 with 6.5 remaining in that contest. The game tied later on in the in the second half, 69-69. Bearcats forced 4 turnovers down the stretch and led by Isaac Turner with a game-high 25 points.
Yeah, Isaac Turner really had a great game. Whenever he gets going for the Bearcats, they're so much more hard to beat. And Turner, at the end of that game, sank 6 straight free throws to really clinch it for the Bearcats. So great job from the outside and the inside.
Well, folks here on their feet for the national anthem. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the opening tip on the PAC Sports Network.
Train like a pro at Rev Pittsburgh, a new and unique facility in Western PA, offering physical therapy, strength training, and therapeutic massage. It's the one-stop shop in an athlete's care. Rev has the best in the business. Frank Velazquez, former Pittsburgh Pirates strength and conditioning coach, and Amy Slattery, expert physical therapist with World Wrestling Entertainment. Visit the Rev website, revpgh.com. Rev Sports at 290 Executive Drive in Cranberry Township. Call us today at 724-591-8228. Let's go, Pittsburgh, and rev up your game.
Raucous crowd at the Carey Center, and that's just for the national anthem.
They did a nice job with that national anthem. They sang along with it. They got a little ahead when we had a recording on Thursday night, but they were right in tune tonight. Nice job restraining themselves for what's about to happen.
Yeah, a little bit better job. They've improved over the last week. I know you commented that on the blog, on your PAC blog, on the PAC Sports Network website, and yeah, they're a little more in tune with it, so well done.
A little bit of practice pays off, so this is the last chance here in this building, you would think, for them to be crazy, so might as well pull out all the stops here tonight if you're a member of that Bearcat crowd.
Now the Thomas More Saints, they are the visitors here tonight, and for the second straight year they are the visitors. Last season Thomas More in the PAC championship game facing the Bethany Bison and had to rally in the second half, cut it to a three-point game, but ended up falling to the Bethany Bison. The Bison are out, it's the Saints and Bearcats who are in, and St. Vincent on their home floor, they're starting five to be introduced. But first we're going to give you the Thomas More Saints and then the St. Vincent Bearcats. First for the Saints, number 1, 5'11" junior DeCarlo Hayes, number 11, 6'2" junior Spencer Burleycamp, number 21, 6'2" sophomore Drew Mumford, number 33, 6'2" junior Brandon Housley, and number 45, 6'1" junior Joseph Marshall. For the St. Vincent Bearcats, they're starting five, number 11, 5'8" senior Chris Klimchuk, number 22, 6'2" junior Isaac Turner, number 32, 6'5" junior Dylan Steiff, number 45, 6'5" sophomore Sean Kett, and number 54, 6'8" sophomore Grant Ladis. Ladis last week was our South Point Chamber of Commerce, last week rather, was our South Point Chamber of Commerce player of the game against the Thomas More Saints, as he set a school record for a single game, 10 block shots against Thomas More last week. And one of the keys for the St. Vincent Bearcats, Justin, we'll take a look at keys for both teams. For the Bearcats, inside game, and obviously it starts with Grant Ladis.
Yeah, inside game offensively and defensively was both working for the Bearcats. Grant Ladis was outstanding, really a threat to block a shot anytime a shot went up last week, and he altered so many more that he didn't get his hands on. But you knew that he was in the mind of the Saints. And offensively, Dylan Steiff, Sean Kett, along with Ladis, had great games down low, as did Isaac Turner, slashing through the hole. So that's something Thomas More really has to answer with.
And for Thomas More, yeah, last week, so many fouls so early in the game, and Thomas More, from that standpoint, got behind the 8 ball early as those fouls accumulated. They were able to weather that storm to a certain extent, but obviously tonight in the championship game, Thomas More would like to start off, well, they will start off with a clean slate, but keep that slate as clean as possible as the game rolls along.
Yeah, you don't want to get into foul trouble. And also, they're a rhythm shooting team. They like to control the pace. They like to play a little more up-tempo at times, and when you're constantly being hampered by the whistle, you just can't do that.
We are underway in the PAC championship game. St. Vincent winning the opening tip, and Isaac Turner putting up the first shot of the contest. The tray attempt that rattles out. Grant Ladis put back no good. Tip around the rebound. Dylan Steiff in the area, as well as Burleycamp. It's Burleycamp who touches it last out of bounds on the baseline. St. Vincent will stay in possession.
And look for those big scrums, hard battles underneath for rebounds, for 50-50 balls. Both these teams know how to get it after it on the glass and with those loose balls.
Dylan Steiff, shot blocked from behind. I believe DeCarlo Hayes got a piece of that one. And now Drew Mumford will lead the floor for the Saints. Mumford dribbles left as Joseph Marshall. Nice dish to Housley, head fake, and then off the back of the iron, it sits on a couple of hops and then drops in. 2-0 Saints.
Nice find underneath by Marshall. Housley, just a little touch on that shot, getting that to fall. See if their nerves maybe play in the early going in this game. Such a big game for both teams. Saw a couple wild shots put up by the Bearcats on their last possession.
Dylan Steiff with the basketball for St. Vincent. Sean Kett has Grant Ladis, and he just drops that one nicely into the cylinder, and we're all squared up 2 apiece.
Yeah, basically the same spot on the court at the other end. Ladis floating it in, and we're tied early on.
Pressure defense from St. Vincent. DeCarlo Hayes handles that. as Drew Mumford will walk it into the forecourt. Spencer Burlekamp directing traffic. Joseph Marshall left side. Mumford from the left wing. It's Hayes. Hayes had a big game last Saturday against St. Vincent, leading the comeback trail, but they're a giveaway to Grant Ladis and the Bearcats. Klimchak into the forecourt. Crosses over around a screen from Ladis. Double team collapses on him. Ball swiped away by Brandon Housley. 3-on-1. Pass right to Hayes. He takes a hard foul. Shot no good. Hayes helped up to his feet by his teammates Housley and Marshall. And Hayes will shoot two.
Aggressively took that one to the hole. And you're right, Randy. Hit the floor hard, but he bounced right back up. He'll head to the line. You mentioned the big game that he had last week. A lot of that work was done from the free throw line. 15 of 20 from the line last weekend on this floor.
And 29 points total for DeCarlo Hayes. And hit some big free throws down the stretch to force overtime last Saturday afternoon right here at the Carey Center. And he drops in an important free throw in the PAC title game to give the Saints a 3-2 lead. Very early in the game, but it's the championship. Every shot is important tonight.
Thomas More shot it great from the free throw line against Teal. 27 of 30 in that game, 90%.
Second free throw also good. 4-2 lead Thomas More. DeCarlo Hayes, who averages 14 points per game. Klimchak pass to Sean Kett. A look left to Turner. Hayes comes out to guard. Dylan Stith from the left wing has Kett top of the key. Looks right, passes left to Stith. Mumford comes out to guard, knowing that Stith can hit those three-point shots, perimeter shooting. Klimchak wants to hand it off to Kett. Kett dribbles left side of the lane. We've got a whistle. Foul on the floor on Thomas More.
It'll be on Mumford. First foul for him, first foul for the Saints. Each team with one team foul.
Mumford, the 6'2 sophomore guard out of Louisville, Kentucky, called for the foul. And Turner inbounds pass, lobs it into Stith, and he just, with a right-handed hook shot, just lays it in, and it's 4-4. We're evened up.
And that was created by Chris Klimchak. Great screen by him to free up Stith for the lob pass.
DeCarlo Hayes pulls up, has Burlekamp. Hand motions for the offense. Left corner, Hayes head fake, dribbles baseline, ball poked away, but Housley there to recover for the Saints. Marshall pass right wing, and a three-point try by Hayes, no good. Marshall hustles though for the rebound. Baseline, wants to go up and under, he will, and it connects. 6'4 Thomas More.
You can see Thomas More in the early going, not afraid to go inside. Last week they kind of sat back a little bit. It seemed like with all the blocks that Layes was having, he kind of just took away the entire inside game, but right now they're attacking the hoop.
Turner, baseline move, tie game again. 3 minutes into this contest, long ball pass to Housley. Draws a contact down low. Ladis had the block up high, but got him with the body. Housley to the free throw line. Brandon Housley, 6'2", junior forward out of Covington, Kentucky, and Housley is the big man for Thomas More.
Very good free throw shooter as well. 83%.
Right there behind Sean Kett, amongst the conference leaders in free throw shooting. Housley first went up and good. Housley also the team leader for Thomas More in rebounds, 137 coming into tonight's game, averaging 5.1 per game. Leads the Saints in block shots and leads the team in steals. So you name it, he does it. Brandon Housley gives the Saints a 2-point lead here, 8-6. Making both of his free throws. Housley with 4 points in the early going. Klimchak between the leg dribble, angles left, coming out to guard Marshall. Nice dish to Ladis. Spins right, and the right-handed hook shot. Back and forth the buckets, and we're even again.
You have Ladis 4 points, doing work inside. We have a timeout on the floor. Officials timeout, getting together to figure out what's going on here.
And the officials congregate and pointing towards something to the bucket from our camera vantage point, the bucket to the right. At least that's the area they're pointing, not necessarily saying that it has anything to do with the bucket whatsoever, but nonetheless, it's their concern is in that direction. As we're in a tie game, 8-8 first half. And it's been back and forth here in the early going. One team scores, the other one matches them.
Both teams doing a nice job getting the ball inside, getting those high percentage shots to fall.
Well, while we have a moment, while the officials continue to work things over here at the scorers table. Mentioned that this is a rematch from last Saturday's game, and these two teams playing so recently at the same facility. What does that do for either team in that case? These two teams both playing at the same facility a week later, and this time for the PAC championship.
Well, for St. Vincent, it's the comfort of home court advantage. You hear this crowd right now, they're going crazy. They love their Bearcats, and St. Vincent thrives off that crowd noise. For Thomas More, they've already been through this once, so they're a little more used to it than someone coming in here cold, getting used to the baskets and to the crowd.
Glad you can be with us tonight on the PAC Sports Network. It's the PAC championship game. Marshall pull-up jump shot. Klimchak with the rebound, lose the ball. Housley with the pickpocket, no good. Fight for the rebound. We've got a whistle. Housley went up with a shot. Not sure if this will be a shooting foul or not. This will be on the floor. Charge this one on Klimchak. Oh, excuse me. It is on Chris Klimchak of the St. Vincent Bearcats. So Klimchak charged with the foul. That'll be his first, team third for St. Vincent.
And Thomas More unlucky there. The entire Bearcats team was down at the other end of the floor, just unable to get a basket out of that situation. Klimchak the only one back.
Yeah, three-point try by Mumford spins out. Marshall, though, with the rebound, and then a line drive pass to Burleycamp as the Saints reset. DeCarlo Hayes, top of the key for three. No good. Contact on the end of that play. Marshall with another offensive rebound. Burleycamp, once a pass right, does. Mumford will dribble baseline. As Marshall angles to the right, off the backboard, no good. Rebound tipped, another offensive board, this time by Burleycamp. Has Housley up top, and now slowing it up, Thomas More will reset once again with a fresh shot clock.
And you'll see Housley inside, not the biggest guy, but against the trees of St. Vincent, he'll tip that out to his teammates and let them keep these long possessions going.
Mumford, baseline move, kicks it out to Burleycamp. Head fake, dribbles into the lane. Shot blocked by Latus. We saw that all last Saturday. Klimchak now moves ahead into the forecourt. Bump from behind, gets the ball away to Turner. Turner in some space. Klimchak for three from the right corner. Knocks that one down. Saints by three.
Great ball movement. He knew it was going back to Klimchak. Turner making that extra pass. Klimchak burying it from the corner. Nice ball movement, way to get that defense rotating around to where they found the open shooter.
Burleycamp, Marshall, Hayes, left quarter, Mumford. Nice stutter step move, and the runner spins in. Thomas More cuts it to a 1-point lead for the Bearcats. Now, every time Thomas More scores, you hear the gymnasium grow quiet. And then, of course, the opposite end of the spectrum, every time St. Vincent scores, the place erupts. 1-point lead for the Bearcats and a lively atmosphere from the Carey Center. Sean Kett slides right. Pass left to Klimchak. Fakes left, dribbles right. Will spin back the other way. Dylan Stith wide open for three from the left corner. Nothing but net for Dylan Stith.
Stith has so much range. He can go inside, he can go outside. Just dropped a three right there.
Hayes, pass to Marshall, left side, dribbles into the lane, big hop step, lobs that one over Latus that time for the bucket, 14-12.
Like the jump stop by Marshall, and that floater to fall. He's got 4 points now. Thomas More going inside on the Bearcats.
Klimchak finds some space to the cylinder. His shot denied by Drew Mumford. Now the Saints will run the floor. DeCarlo Hayes stripped by Turner. Ball out of bounds, last touch by Turner. Exciting back and forth action in the early going here.
Looks like we got a media timeout right now.
And we're going to take a break. 13:52 to go in the first half. 2-point lead for St. Vincent on the PAC Sports Network.
Hey, this is Don Hoder from the South Point Chamber of Commerce, and would like to invite you to be a part of the 280 companies that are directly and indirectly involved in the gas oil industry. Go to southpointchamber.com. That's southpointchamber.com, or call me. Let's have lunch. 724-873-7777.
Well, as we were talking about before break, in this PAC championship game between the number 2 seed Thomas More Saints and top-seeded St. Vincent Bearcats, back and forth pace and frenetic pace, exciting ball game to start, and both teams really utilizing the keys that you talked about. St. Vincent getting the ball inside the Grant latest for a couple of buckets, and Thomas More avoiding any early foul trouble. And so things going well for both squads as the Saints trail this one to St. Vincent 14-12.
And Saints also unafraid to get out in transition. You see DeCarlo Hayes a couple of times trying to run that floor, use the numbers, and get to the hole.
Also, Thomas More doing a nice job on the offensive glass to this point. Joseph Marshall jump shot 15-footer, tie ball game.
Yeah, 5 offensive rebounds for Thomas More, including one possession where I think they had 2 or 3 in a row.
And Marshall was a big part of that. He had at least 2 of those offensive rebounds, and he leads in scoring so far in this one with 6 points. Ed Wright into the game. Lehner, no good. Housley had his mitts on the ball and then is ripped to the ground, foul.
It'll be Armani Fontaine going up and over and into Brandon Housley.
Fontaine, Wright, and J.C. Howard newly inserted into the game. And now new troops for Thomas More as well. Elliot Pipes and Chris Richard. Marshall will get a brief rest as well as DeCarlo Hayes.
Both teams unafraid to go to their bench. See heavy rotation out of both squads.
And both teams, that's what they've been doing all season long, so no point in changing that up. Very deep squads, and obviously that's a big part of why they're here in this championship game.
Deep all around at every position, inside, outside.
Housley from the right side, passes it up top, right side to Pipes. Pipes tries to angle his way in, finds resistance, and travels.
Trying to get to the hole, cut off by Turner, and then skidded with his right foot.
PAC championship all squared up in the first half. And right inbounds to Chris Klimchak. Klimchak in the backcourt with Pipes guarding him. Man-to-man right now on the defensive end for Thomas More. Stith comes free near the free throw line, drains the pull-up jump shot. Bearcats back ahead, 16-14. Dylan Stith with 7. He averages 12 points per game. And he's another one, very much like Brandon Housley, his counterpart on the other side wearing blue. Dylan Stith, a very versatile player. Pull-up shot by Richard, no good, and there's Stith with the rebound. Stith averaging 5.1 rebounds per game. J.C. Howard, pull-up three-point try off the right side of the rim. Rebound volleyball game. Richard corrals it.
Howard made a couple of clutch 3-pointers down the stretch in the second half against W&J on Thursday. They're just a little unlucky, and a foul at the other end on St. Vincent.
Now Housley going up with a shot. Ed Wright trying to draw a tie-up and reaching in for that ball, but got too much body in the process.
There are a few players down low there. So Housley's back to the line.
So Ed Wright charged officially with that foul. That's the 5th for St. Vincent. And Housley misses the free throw, to the great delight of the Carey Center. Shooting free throws right in front of the student body, doing everything they can to distract Brandon Housley. Housley, as Justin talked about earlier on in the broadcast, an 83% free throw shooter, unfazed on the second try. Housley with 5 points. It's a 1-point lead for St. Vincent. This gymnasium rocking so much the scores table's moved a bit, has it not?
It's the seismic tremors.
Check the Richter scale. And again, we're still only in the first half. 1-point lead for St. Vincent. J.C. Howard left. Top of the key right, swings it right side to Klimchak. Pipes guarding, now it's Dylan Stith for 3, way off the mark. And the ball out of bounds as Elliot Pipes had position. He just watches that ball carry him off the rim, out of bounds. Thomas More basketball.
St. Vincent going away from the inside game that was so successful early on. Drained a couple of outside shots. Now the last couple have gone cold. The one by Howard, now the one by Stith.
And D.P. Harris with some words for Dylan Stith down on the back end of the floor. And that might have something what you just said. He might have reiterated those comments. Chris Richard with a nice use of the backboard gives the Saints a 1-point lead. Chris Richard, the 6'4" sophomore, his first bucket of the game off the bench. Klimchak bumped by Marshall, draws the blocking foul. Marshall aggressive, and they want to try and get after the quick-footed Chris Klimchak, but that time a little too much contact.
It's kind of an unnecessary foul. He did a good job of getting out and hedging, but too far away from the hoop to commit that foul.
And Chris Klimchak last Saturday, we saw him go down late in the game, leaving with a re-aggravation of an ankle injury, but was, while he missed the quarterfinal game against Waynesburg, was back on Thursday night against W&J in the semifinals, and obviously he is once again in the starting lineup for St. Vincent today here in the PAC Championship. Isaac Turner for 3, off the mark, long board, goes to Ross Rankin for the Saints. Rankin will direct his teammates up the floor. Head fake toward the cylinder, pass right to Elliott Pipes. And then the giveaway was a pick and roll toward Marshall, but Sean Kett with the theft. Now right side, Sinwell for 3, no good. Rebound, Sean Kett had it, and then ripped away by Rankin. There's going to be a foul called here on Thomas More, and that is on Chris Richards, 6'4" sophomore. Ross Rankin wanted the steal there. He did not draw the contact, though. It was Chris Richards.
Well, the Saints are definitely getting after it on the rebounding side, offensively and defensively. Just wanting that basketball a little more than the Bearcats right now.
Klimchak off the inbounds pass, no good. Richard corrals the rebound, and then we'll pass it back off to Ryan Ham. Ham, the 5'8" senior, off the bench earlier in the season in the starting lineup, but was literally banged up, suffering a concussion at Teal in early January. And back now for the Saints after a miss to Carlo Hayes. Shot blocked, put back, no good. Klimchak now will lead the floor. And a nice dish to Sean Kett with the lay-in. And D.P. Harris looked like he wanted a timeout there, did not get the call. And Thomas More, Ross Rankin, recovering the basketball, passes it off to DeCarlo Hayes.
Boy, frantic pace as soon as that fast break went down. Frantic pace back the other way for Thomas More.
Marshall fakes left, tries to go right side of the lane. Doesn't have positioning, kicks it out to Richard for 3. Spoons out, rebound Sinwell.
Great body position by Dan Sinwell on Ross Rankin, boxing him out for that rebound.
Klimchak, wild dribble through the lane in the giveaway to Ryan Ham. Long pass ahead to Ross Rankin, off the glass. Nicely done by Rankin, and the Thomas More Saints back in front, 19-18.
It's still early on, but you get the feeling this is the way this game's going to go down. 1 point lead for both teams. We've been tied a couple times, but back and forth we go.
Turner, pass left to Sean Kett. Sidwell has Isaac Turner on the right side. Around a screen from Latus. Dribbling left is Turner. Turner finds resistance, puts up a shot, no good. Rebound Richard. Richard off the bench with a couple of rebounds now for Thomas More, and he has the basketball again. Left corner, Marshall dribbles into the lane. He has resistance from Grant Latus. Wants to pass it out to some security. Has Ryan Ham now to Carlo Hayes.
Yeah, Ham saw Marshall's in a bad way and did a good job making himself available.
Hayes, pass to Richard. Richard bumps Sean Kett. Shot back of the iron, no good. Rebound Bearcats, who trail it by 1. Sean Kett as Isaac Turner. Sean Kett fakes a pass left, dribbles the lane. Bounce pass to Latus. 2-point jump shot on the soft touch. And this time D.P. Harris gets the timeout after the bucket. St. Vincent with a 20-19 lead. This will be a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here for the time being. Excellent pace of this game, and you talked about it, Justin. You get the feeling, even though this is still in the first half, that this may be the pace throughout.
It's still very, very early, but the intensity is there with every possession. The magnitude of every possession seems to be enhanced, magnified, because of just how tight this game is, going back and forth. You see one team goes on a little bit of a run, and we'll see what happens. But so far, it's been very tight. St. Vincent's led by 4. Thomas More, I think, is only led by 2 in this game. I don't know if they've expanded their lead much past that, but it's been tight. Both ends, very intense, and both teams really getting after it.
Thomas More out of the timeout to inbound. Spencer Burlekamp to DeCarlo Hayes, who leaves the basketball for Burlekamp. Burlekamp, 6'2" junior, leads the Saints with 68 assists. Joseph Marshall, shot blocked by Latus and out of bounds. Now that's at least 2 for Latus already tonight. Had 10 last week against Thomas More to set a St. Vincent single game record. Inbounds pass tipped away and stolen away by J.C. Howard, who streaks up the floor. His shot blocked by, I believe that was Mumford, but a foul with the body.
Mumford and Jalen Clark both down there. It will be Mumford with the foul.
That's the second on Mumford. Fourth on Thomas More. St. Vincent has 5 team fouls. They've been sitting at that mark for quite some time now, as we are under 8 minutes to play in the first half.
Howard 57% from the line. First one goes down.
Howard, 6'2" freshman. You mentioned Justin J.C. Howard hitting a couple of big three-pointers in the semifinals against W&J in the later stages of that contest. Misses on the second free throw, loose ball on the rebound. Rowan has it, and then from his hindquarters, pass ahead to DeCarlo Hayes. Hayes, charging call, drawing the charge, Ed Wright. So the first foul on DeCarlo Hayes. Brandon Housley and Jalen Clark entering, as Housley re-enters and Jalen Clark into the game for the first time for Thomas More. Always enjoy the sights and sounds, especially the sounds near the scorer's table from our broadcast perspective at the Carey Center. Ed Wright shot denied by Brandon Housley with the block. Mentioned he's the team leader for Thomas More in block shots. So
is that a two-handed block he had?
Might have been. Hard to see from our angle, but certainly at the very least a one-handed denial with authority. Burlekamp around a screen from Housley. Slides back left. Bounce past to Housley with the 6'8" latest on him, and he somehow hovers and then gets that ball to drop off the window. Tie game, 21 all.
Not afraid to go inside, go up and over Grant Lattis. Saints have had some success in the paint. Early going, and then keep going to the well that way.
Pass the latest, no good off the glass. And there is Rowan with the rebound. Long pass ahead to Jalen Clark in some space. Beautiful finger roll. And Thomas More with a 2-point lead.
Saints are running the floor, getting ahead of the Bearcats on those fast breaks.
Jalen Clark out of Western Hills High School, 6'2" sophomore guard. Giving the Saints a 2-point lead. Isaac Turner pull up 2-point jump shot. But there's Jalen Clark, who had the rebound and then poked away by Sean Kett out of bounds. And with the action at 6:26 to go in the first half, it is a media timeout. 23-21, Thomas More ahead in the PAC championship game. We'll be right back.
Disability affects the lives of over 29,000 people in Fayette, Washington, and Greene counties. Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living are people with and without disabilities working to meet those needs in the community. The success of Triple comes from the commitment of a dedicated board of directors, its members, and volunteers. To continue to improve services, Triple is renovating the historical YWCA building located at 42 West Maiden Street in Washington. This will allow for an assistive internet cafe, increased veteran services, and transportation and wellness to provide skills to help with independent living. Your help and feedback are appreciated, and if you seek assistance, we're here to help.
Welcome back to the Carey Center. Thomas More and St. Vincent in the PAC championship game. Saints with a 2-point lead. Jalen Clark with the bucket that has the Saints ahead. And the Saints will own the basketball after the media timeout. Hayes bounce pass to Jalen Clark in the backcourt. Pressure defense from St. Vincent. Now they'll peel off in the half court. DeCarlo Hayes left side. As Burlekamp, baseline move off the rim, no good. Ed Wright, pass across to J.C. Howard. This time the baseline drive by Isaac Turner, and he dribbles into major contact as he draws the foul.
Thomas More foul number 32, Michael Rowan, his first, team 6. At the line for the Bearcats.
Isaac Turner at the line right now.
Go ahead, Justin.
First free throw up, around and out. Hey, Thomas More, points in the paint. 16 of their 23 points have been inside. So that's doing good work, finding success down there.
And that's a vast improvement over last week.
Yeah, 20 for the entire game when they played St. Vincent. So that's definitely an area that they've worked on or they've sought to do better in. And they're doing it in the early going here. It's also been a tight game. Score's been tied 6 different occasions, and the lead has changed hands 6 times.
Turner misses on both free throws. He had some early game jitters from the free throw line in the semifinals, but he recovered to finish up strong for important free throws down the stretch in the semifinal victory for St. Vincent. But there's some early game jitters in this PAC championship. He misses 2 free throws moments ago, and he is typically very good from the charity stripe. Ross Rankin, bounce pass right wing to Carlo Hayes, dribbles into some space off the glass. Nice take by DeCarlo Hayes, and it's now a 4-point lead for Thomas More. Dylan Stith, pass to Ed Wright. Wright tries to angle his way in toward the cylinder. Pass tipped out of bounds by Thomas Moore.
Checking in for the Bearcats, number 11,
For the folks tuning in live on the PAC Sports Network, remember you can always follow us on Twitter. Justin Piles manages the Twitter board and also on Facebook.
Is that what it is, a Twitter board?
I suppose so. I just made that up. Does that sound right?
I'll go with it.
I'm not as savvy as the social media as our producer David Singer, but we'll go with that Twitter board. All the tweets.
There you go.
Justin Piles handles all of that. We've got a foul on the floor. And this is on Thomas Moore. Charged that one to Ross Rankin. 7th team foul on Thomas Moore, so 1-1 for JC. Or actually, this is a shooting foul. My apologies. 2 at the line for JC Howard.
Dave and I are going to get together and get you your very own personal Twitter. And if you don't want to run it, that's fine. We'll just tweet from it. But we're going to.
That could be dangerous.
We're going to make your own personal Twitter sometime soon.
Howard no good on his first free throw attempt. JC Howard, who hits at 57% on the season from the free throw line. It's a 4-point lead for Thomas Moore. 5:08 to go in the first half. No good on the second free throw, so that's 0 for 4 on the last 2 trips by the Bearcats. And the lead is 4 for Thomas Moore. Hayes fouled by Ed Wright. That'll be the second on the 5'10 senior. Sixth team foul now on St. Vincent. So next one we'll have the Saints at the line, at the very least for a 1-1.
Let's see if they get the ball back to Hayes. Wright still on him. See if they can pick up a quick third on Ed Wright.
Rankin right in front of our broadcast perspective, passes it off to Housley. Left wing, Hayes dribbles 1 step right. Joseph Marshall head fake. Waiting for players to clear now. Slides in right side of the lane. Beautiful bounce pass to Housley. Can't finish, however. Rebound Bearcats. Ed Wright goes the other way. Draws contact. Offensive foul on Ed Wright. And that is his second in quick succession and 3rd for the game.
Officials saw Ed Wright a little out of control that time. Joseph Marshall down low. Picking up that charging foul. Wright will go to the bench with 3.
So lead remains 25-21, Thomas Moore, with 4:21 to go in the first half. Thomas Moore, the men's squad, hoping to join the women's team at Thomas Moore as PAC champions. The women of Thomas Moore defeating W&J earlier on today. DeCarlo Hayes shot blocked by Dylan Stith. That gets the crowd going here at the Carey Center. Turner pocket pick though by Brandon Housley, ahead to DeCarlo Hayes. Misses the rim and the backboard. Housley though with the follow and the bucket. 27-21, largest lead of the game for either team.
Fantastic touch by Housley, going high off the glass there. But no, that one was going to be so soft off the glass, gets it to fall.
Brandon Housley, a force for Thomas Moore so far. That there is a 3-point bucket knocked down by Chris Klimchak.
No, he's been quiet, just hit the 1 triple from the corner early on. Now trying to breathe some life into the St. Vincent offense.
Ball dribbled out of bounds by Hayes, and Klimchak's three-pointer might have come at the right time late in this first half as Thomas More seemed to be seizing some momentum, and then Klimchak stepped up for that tray. The officials want the scoring table, the scores table, to be pushed back, and we have noticed that has edged forward actually since this game has started. And we've just pulled up our chairs, so not surprised that occurred. Sooner or later it was going to happen. Well, everybody on their toes, I guess, on the edge of their seats. That would be more appropriate.
Leaning forward to watch this game.
Yeah, there is. Oh, Housley takes a hard foul from Stith. And Stith comes over. He wants a good show of sportsmanship there by Dylan Stith. It was a hard foul, but obviously non-intentional. And Housley back to the free throw line for Thomas More.
Just trying to get the basketball with his left arm, and may have hooked Housley a little bit going to the hoop.
Well, you always like to see the sportsmanship displayed by Dylan Stith moments ago. Back up to his feet and then came right over to the Saints. And Brandon Housley in particular. Housley misses the first free throw to the delight of the Carey Center. Housley will try again with a three-point lead. He makes it a 4-point advantage for Thomas More. Housley with 10 points. Averages 10 points per game, so already meeting his average. And St. Vincent on the offensive. J.C. Howard looking for a player to come free as Klimchak lobbed him pass towards Stith. Wasn't quite in the position where that ball was sent to. Tried to tip it back into himself. Lost out of bounds. And last touched by Thomas More.
And not a good pass, but luckily bailed out by someone on the Saints, knocking that ball out of bounds.
Checking in for the Bearcats, number 4, Ed Wright.
Klimchak will get a rest as Ed Wright re-enters with 3 fouls. 2:41 to go in the first half. Wright accepts the inbounds pass as Ryan Ham comes out to guard.
Don't know that we'll see him go to the hole with such authority this time. More of a facilitator maybe this time in the ball game.
Turner fakes left, dribbles into the lane. Shot blocked by Housley again. Rankin gets to the loose ball to Burlekamp. Housley, big hop step into the forecourt. Spencer Burlekamp from the left side dribbles right. Bounce pass. Housley cutting and the dunk for Thomas More. Brandon Housley, and it's 30-24 Thomas More.
Oh, he's been a huge player for Thomas More in the first half. Defensively, grabbing rebounds, now up to 11 points.
Latest to Wright. As J.C. Howard, now Turner. Last time the Saints had a 6-point lead, the Bearcats answered with a three-pointer. That time it was by Chris Klimchak. Right now, Klimchak not on the floor. Instead, it's Grant Latest from down low with the shot off the backboard. Makes it a 4-point game. Latest has 8. 1.5 to go in the first half. Stay tuned at halftime as we'll chat with Assistant Commissioner of the PAC, Kevin Fenstermacher.
He'll have a long commute for that one. We'll have to go get him.
Sitting right next to me is Justin Piles. A little bit of sarcasm there. 32-26, Thomas More back to a 6-point lead again. Our J&D Waterproofing halftime show. And this time it'll be with Kevin Fenstermacher in about 1 minute. As Isaac Turner drives baseline and the bucket, 32-28. Turner huge in the semifinal win over W&J. Comes up with a bucket there. As it's a 4-point lead for Thomas More. 20 on the shot clock. Ryan Ham. Marshall now, right side of the lane, head fake, nice lay, and somehow found a way to get around that redwood tree, Grant Latest, and it's 34-28.
Marshall and Housley both huge on the inside for the Saints. A big reason why they're up 6 right now. This could be the last possession if the Bearcats want to make it. Shot clock is off.
And doing it primarily down low, Marshall and Housley. something we did not see much of last Saturday. It's the rematch, it's the rubber match between these two schools with 3 seconds on the game clock. Shot no good by Turner. Rebound, Thomas More. And free throws upcoming for Joseph Marshall.
That's a big call.
Well, at least one free throw. He'll have to earn a second with 1.2 on the clock.
Team foul number 9. That's a big foul, big call there in that situation. St. Vincent missing what looked to be the last shot of the half. And Dylan Stith committing the foul on the rebound. So Marshall have a shot here. 1.2 on the clock.
Marshall, first shot, and he'll earn a second. Joseph Marshall with 9, the 6'1 junior out of Dayton, Ohio, in Trotwood Madison High School. And knocks down the second free throw. Now Marshall in double digits, joining Housley. 1 second. And a long distance attempt by Turner, no good. And Thomas More at halftime with the largest lead of the game, 36-28 over the St. Vincent Bearcats in the PAC championship game. Both teams to the locker room. We'll pause at intermission for a timeout. We'll be back on the PAC Sports Network.
Hi, I'm John Williams, Superintendent of J&D Waterproofing. If you have bowed or cracked walls due to water seepage in your basement, give us a call at 1-800-BERRY-DRY. We've been a family-owned business serving the tri-state area since 1939. We specialize in foundation repair and basement waterproofing, and we're dedicated to service and 100% customer satisfaction. Call us today at 1-800-BERRY-DRY for a free estimate. J&D Waterproofing, serving the tri-state area for 71 years.
Hey, this is Don Hoder from the South Point Chamber of Commerce, and would like to invite you to be a part of the 280 companies that are directly and indirectly involved in the gas oil industry. Go to southpointchamber.com. That's southpointchamber.com, or call me. Let's have lunch. 724-873-7777.
PAC championship game on the PAC Sports Network. Thomas More with a 36-28 lead over the St. Vincent Bearcats. Back and forth pace to start this game. But right toward the end of the first half, Thomas More pulling away a little bit. Obviously still a lot of game left to be played, but largest lead of the game at this point at 8 points for the Thomas More Saints.
Yeah, really finding success on the inside, down low, in the paint. Brandon Housley, Joseph Marshall doing great work down there. And they've been out in transition a little bit, doing a little bit of running ahead of the Saints, and that's really helped them build this lead. 8 points right now over St. Vincent. The St. Vincent offense kind of went a little stagnant there towards the end of the half. Couldn't respond like they did in the early going.
Well, it seemed like, and you talked about the importance of getting the ball inside the Grant Ladis, Sean Kett, Dylan Stith, Armani Fontaine, those big players for St. Vincent. But early on they did that. It seemed like they got away from that a little bit as the game proceeded. I would assume after intermission here, they will get back to that once the second half resumes.
Yeah, that could be a halftime adjustment in the locker room. Coach Harris will maybe address that, maybe say, hey, let's go back inside. We have some great scorers on the inside. Chris Klimchak, they got to get him going as well. He's hit a couple of triples from the outside, but really nothing in terms of scoring or even really shot attempts. We know he can make the outside shot, but we haven't seen him slash a whole lot inside and kick to the outside shooters. Sometimes he can slash inside and kick it to one of the big guys underneath for an uncontested lay-in. They really haven't done that a whole lot either, so we'll see if they can get the offense in a little more of a rhythm in the second half.
And Thomas More, much in contrast from last Saturday's meeting with St. Vincent, the inside game, really working to perfection and staying away from the cheap fouls that they kind of got themselves into, the foul trouble last week in the first half, and they were able to somewhat dig out of that, but not ultimately in the end, as St. Vincent came away with the win. So if you're Coach Jeff Rogers, you have to feel pretty good about where your team's at right now.
Yeah, much cleaner game for the Saints, and certainly in the eyes of the officials, not getting called for so many foul. And inside game, thanks a lot. We got stats here. Inside game, really doing work like we were saying earlier. 26 points in the paint for Thomas More. That's up from 20 for the entire game last Saturday. So they're definitely making a concerted effort to push the ball inside, and it's been working for them.
Well, live here from the Carey Center, we're at intermission. Again, the score 36-28, Thomas More leading. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have Kevin Fenstermacher, the Assistant Commissioner of the President's Athletic Conference. We'll pause on the PAC Sports Network. At intermission, the PAC championship game, Thomas More leading St. Vincent 36-28. And as we are at halftime, we're going to talk now with the assistant commissioner of the PAC, Kevin Fenstermacher. And Kevin, exciting game so far. You have to be pleased with the action.
I think I'm really pleased with the action. It's, I was out here Tuesday and, got to see a pretty good game with Washington and Jefferson up here. And this, I think, is going to live up to the billing with the number 1, number 2 seeds tonight.
Certainly has been to this point. And I guess give us a brief synopsis of the PAC tournament, the men's tournament we'll start with first. Exciting action, especially, games here at the Carey Center. St. Vincent, of course, in games, they never make it easy on themselves. Tight games against against Waynesburg and also against W&J. But it's all around exciting action everywhere you go. W&J pulling off the lone upset of the tournament.
It was a great upset. I was at Bethany on Tuesday night and got to see that down there. And that's the one thing I like about the PAC. I've been involved with the PAC since being a student at Bethany College back in the late 90s and working at Teal for a really long time before, coming over to work with Joe. And, it's one of those things where we really have terrific basketball players. And I think the more that we do with you guys, the more attention we can call to these players. W&J doesn't win that game if Doug Johnson doesn't come really out of nowhere and, bang a bunch of threes late in the game and give them a run to beat Bethany. And like this game tonight, if St. Vincent makes its free throws, I think we're looking at a little different halftime score right now than what it is. They're 1 for 6 at the line, and that's not going to cut it in the championship game. But I really like. It's easy for us to always look at the players who we tout all the time, the players of the weeks and all that kind of stuff. But I like the gutty, gritty players, and I think I'm allowed to say that working for the conference. I'm not picking on one specific team. It's easy for if you're a Thomas More fan to fall in love with DeCarlo Hayes. But, you can look at Joseph Marshall, who's probably playing out of his mind right now. And I'd really like to follow those kind of players, the ones that give the gutty and gritty performances when they really need to.
And taking a look at the PAC women's tournament, the Thomas More Saints, winners of yet another PAC crown.
They have such legitimate depth. And they're just a really, really fun program to be around. Allison Long is a fantastic player. The PAC has had really good women's players before. But if you watch her game, she's just solid all around. Katie Kitchen for Thomas More is fantastic. I think that they really have. I think they have all the pieces in place to, let's just say, make a run this year. And I would love to see it. Who wouldn't love to see it? You guys covering the PAC like you do, to have a team with the caliber of players that they do, let's see what they can do. When we get a little closer to March and maybe we're crossing our fingers and everything, but let's see what the Saints can do in the tournament.
Well, that's the beautiful part about the PAC, whether it's men's or women's action. They battle it out each and every night, Wednesdays, Saturday afternoons. And then now that the season, at least the regular season in PAC tournament is concluded, of the women, everyone's rooting now for Thomas More. From the conference standpoint. Do the conference proud, and whomever it may be with an automatic bid by the end of tonight for the men's action. Sure. Surely, again, all eyes will be on that team. Do the conference proud, and I'm sure, I would assume that's the consensus for really everyone. Right.
And how about, and I don't like to prognosticate or anything, but how about let's say the Thomas More men continue playing the way they're playing right now, and they win the men's tournament championship. You're sending your men's and women's basketball programs to the NCAA Division III championship tournament. Terry Connor, the AD at Thomas More, I know he's been sick the last couple days, so he didn't make it to the first couple rounds of the women's playoff. But I think he's going to sleep pretty easy tonight if that happens for his Saints.
Now, in talking about the men's tournament, and obviously the winner gets the automatic bid, this year seems as if the President's Athletic Conference has a legitimate shot at potentially 2 teams making the NCAA tournament. Of course, a lot will go into that, but I guess your thoughts on that. Do you feel like, you have 2 very good teams here, regardless of who wins or loses. Do you feel like you have a legitimate shot at getting 2 teams in?
I think we do. I really think we do. I think that our 2 men's programs that are playing tonight for the championship, I think they have 2 coaches, 2 programs that are recognizable at the regional level and at the national level as well. I know everything, strength of schedule means so much in these rankings, and as it should. I think it's just, it's going to be one of those nights where we're going to be scouring the computers at midnight, 1 o'clock, looking to see what happened in the NCAC, what happened with the teams that are a little bit behind us in the regional rankings. But I think when it shakes out on Monday, I think you'll be looking at 2 PAC teams in the playoffs.
And obviously, whoever it is that at least garners the automatic bid, and if anyone else can make it into the postseason, the NCAA tournament, obviously we know the Thomas More women are in there as
Correct.
well with their automatic bid. And I guess in referencing the Thomas More women, I guess I'll get back to that. You talked about seeing them with a run. They have a legitimate shot at going deep. And I know, we had the pleasure of interviewing the Thomas More women this year, and obviously, as they put it, PAC first. Well, now they've got that.
Now they have it, yes.
Now they want the NCAA tournament, they want the NCAA national championship now.
Sure they do. Because these players with even if you look 10 years ago, the players weren't as aware of everything else that's going on, around them nationally as the players are today. I'm sure that Allison Long and Coach Hands and those guys are keeping an eye on what else is going on around there. They locked it up today. Let's see what they do seeding-wise. Let's see what else happens on Monday. But they lost one game this year, and they lost to the team that was ranked #1 in the nation at that particular time. I think they probably won't come out and say it, but they know they're pretty darn good. Let's see how good they are. I think it's going to be a very, very fun team to follow.
Yeah, we certainly will be looking forward to seeing what the Thomas More women will be able to do come the NCAA tournament, which will be starting soon. And, of course, whomever it is, at the very least, that earns the automatic bid here in men's play. And as the folks watching along at home or via their iPhones or what have you, the players are back on the floor. So
we're about to get going.
We're about ready, so we're going to say goodbye. Kevin Fenstermacher, the Assistant Commissioner of the President's Athletic Conference, thank you so much for joining us. And best of luck to you and Joe Onderko. Thank you so much as well for everything that you guys have done for us.
I think it's a fantastic partnership that we've developed over the past couple of years with you guys. And from Joe to me to everybody else involved with the PAC, we're shining a light on the student athletes, and that's I think what we are here to do. And you guys help us do that.
We appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Again, Kevin Fenstermacher, the Assistant Commissioner of the President's Athletic Conference. Again, the score 36-28, Thomas More over St. Vincent at halftime. We come back, second half action of the PAC Championship.
Train like a pro at Rev Pittsburgh, a new and unique facility in Western PA, offering physical therapy, strength training, and therapeutic massage. It's the one-stop shop in an athlete's care. Rev has the best in the business. Frank Velazquez, former Pittsburgh Pirates strength and conditioning coach, and Amy Slattery, expert physical therapist with World Wrestling Entertainment. Visit the Rev website, RevPGH.com. Rev Sports at 290 Executive Drive in Cranberry Township. Call us today at 724-591-8228. Let's go, Pittsburgh, and rev up your game. Hi, fans. We bring you free PAC hoops action, and you're welcome to go back to our archives and highlights page to enjoy everything at no cost to you. If you want to show everyone a certain game, we can provide you a DVD for just $25. That's the game.
To Williams, back to Tarmina, left corner. And a pass out, steal by Chelsea Durso. And we'll look right to Heidi Mann for the lay-in and the bucket. And Geneva back ahead now.
Analysis.
And the Bethany Bison as a team, they are the top scoring squad in the PAC.
Alorello 24 points per game. Bethany as a team over 90 points per game.
And halftime features.
Some new sights and sounds are coming from the Westminster sideline this year.
Help! Help! Hey, watch the back door! Dose! Stop! Get it and go!
Send us an email or send us a notice on Twitter. Thanks for watching. Disability affects the lives of over 29,000 people in Fayette, Washington, and Greene counties. Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living are people with and without disabilities working to meet those needs in the community. The success of Triple comes from the commitment of a dedicated board of directors, its members, and volunteers. To continue to improve services, Triple is renovating the historical YWCA building located at 42 West Main Street in Washington. This will allow for an assistive internet cafe, increased veteran services, and transportation and wellness to provide skills to help with independent living. Your help and feedback are appreciated, and if you seek assistance, we're here to help.
Welcome back to the Carey Center in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. The PAC Men's Championship, 36-28, Thomas More in front, and we are underway in the second half. An exciting pace in the first half. And we can expect more of the same here in half number 2. Up and under Brandon Housley, and it's a 10-point lead for Thomas More.
Saw a lot of that in the first half. Thomas More working the ball inside. Housley had 12 at the break, now up to 14.
And we have some halftime statistics, and I'll let you break those down here in a moment, Justin, as Sean Kett pass right wing to J.C. Howard, tipped out of bounds right in front of us by DeCarlo Hayes.
Well, a few stats in addition to the points that Payne had touched on before. Thomas More out-rebounding the Bearcats by over a 2-to-1 margin, 25-12. And Thomas More, typically very good outside shooting team, yet to connect on the three-pointers. I'm sure if you told St. Vincent they were going to do that in the first half, they'd have been fine with that. And also, inside free throw shooting, Thomas More 8 of 10. St. Vincent just 1 of 6 from the charity line.
Brandon Housley with 1 block shot and a blocking foul, however, coming up on Housley as Dylan Stite gets the lay-in and one.
Isaac Turner. That was Turner with the
Isaac Turner. Thank you much, Isaac Turner.
No problem. A lot of bodies down there underneath.
I think my eyes saw Isaac Turner, but for whatever reason, my mouth said Dylan Stite. Thank you for cleaning that up for me. Isaac Turner with the bucket. 38-30, and an and-one opportunity for Mr. Turner. Turner, 6'2" junior out of Winter Park, Florida. Had some tweets to us earlier today from folks in Florida, and I'm sure folks from all over watching this one tonight on the PAC Sports Network. Three-point play converted by Isaac Turner.
Oh yeah, national interest for sure. NCAA tournament berth at stake, and who knows, maybe 2 teams out of this game can make the NCAA tournament. But St. Vincent number 3 in the regional rankings, Thomas More number 4 in the Great Lakes region.
DeCarlo Hayes angles right. We talked with Kevin Fenstermacher about that at halftime, about the possibility of 2 teams from the men's side making it into the NCAA tournament, and certainly a strong possibility. 2 terrific teams going at it right here. As Drew Mumford, well, he certainly was pushing off with the right arm, but was there a foul before that? Foul on Isaac Turner of St. Vincent. Now, there was most definitely contact on both sides on that play. But it's Turner who is called for the foul. That is his first. 7-point lead for Thomas More. Mumford kicks it out to Burlingame. Well, we saw some physical play last Saturday in the meeting between these 2 teams, and perhaps the physicalness of this game will increase soon. Here's Mumford from the right corner, no good. Rebound Housley, offensive glass. Housley kicks it out to Mumford. Another try for 3. This one also no good. A rebound Turner.
Coach Harris wanting the Bearcats to pick up the pace.
Howard wayward dribble off his foot. Klimchak recovers, has Howard left side. Dribbles in, underneath the backboard, kicks it to the right wing for 3. Isaac Turner starting to get hot now, 38-34.
A little bit of momentum. Obviously, they got the crowd on their side, but really stagnant offensively at the end of the first half, trying to pick it up, and maybe that's the spark they need. A Turner three-pointer from the right wing.
Well, a 3-point play by Turner, and then the old regular three-pointer. DeCarlo Hayes for 3, no good. Rebound Bearcats.
They want to pick up the pace, pick up the intensity.
Klimchak around the screen right. Pick and roll has Latest, but in traffic, Latest spins, shot up, no good. Mumford with the rebound for Thomas More. 2.5 minutes into the second half. DeCarlo Hayes pass off the screen to Housley. Shot blocked out of bounds by Grant Latest.
They've certainly been a presence down low. Not quite as big block numbers as he had a week ago, but still a presence down low nonetheless. What do you have for blocks in the first half?
3 in the first half, and that's 4, so not too shabby in this one. Joseph Marshall kicks it left, open for 3 to Carlo Hayes, rattles it home, and it's 41-34 Thomas More.
The first one of those they've knocked down tonight. Carlo Hayes is another player. I mentioned Klimchak kind of quiet on the score sheet. That was just 7 points for Hayes. He had 4 at halftime.
J.C. Howard past the Klimchak, sifts his way through, and the floater drops in, 41-36. Chris Klimchak, nicely done. Klimchak with 8 is recovering there. Burlekamp off the carom. 5-point lead for Thomas More. Burlekamp from the right side. Shot blocked. Turner and Ladis. Believe Turner got most of that one. Sean Kett in the forecourt has Howard cutting left side of the lane. Beautiful lay-in off the glass. And it's a 3-point game suddenly. It was a 10-point lead to start the half. 38-28. Now it's 41-38. Mumford, hop step. Caught in a tie-up, loose ball out of bounds. And Howard wincing in some pain. He wants to come to the bench immediately. Ed Wright comes off the bench as he checks into the contest.
That was a huge take by him a moment ago, right down the left side. Found the alley.
Inbounds pass coming up from Spencer Burlekamp. He administers the inbounds look to DeCarlo Hayes, right back to Burlekamp. Return pass to Hayes. 3-point lead for Thomas More. Housley, 2-point jumper, piece of that for Grant Ladis on the block. Turner runs the floor. Is fouled. His lane attempt off the front of the rim, but Isaac Turner back to the free throw line.
Oh yeah, very good chance to get the and one there. Not enough on it to get it to go up and over the rim.
At the line,
so he'll have a pair of free throws.
Isaac Turner.
Isaac Turner, a 78% free throw shooter. As the gymnasium quiet, and the free throw connects by Isaac Turner. He has 11, averages 16 points per game. Lead was 38-28 for Thomas More on the first bucket of the second half, but the Saints on a run. Turner hits a second free throw, now has a dozen. And it is a 12-2 run for St. Vincent right now. And a 1-point game. Burlekamp in some trouble, travels.
Howard back into the game after having his shoulder looked at a moment ago on the bench. Looks like he's in better shape than he was a couple minutes ago. We got a timeout from the Thomas More bench right now. Coach Rogers senses the momentum's going with the Bearcats, and he's going to want to have a full timeout.
With the full timeout, we'll take a break on the PAC Sports Network.
Hi, I'm John Williams, Superintendent of J&D Waterproofing. If you have bowed or cracked walls due to water seepage in your basement, give us a call at 1-800-BERRY-DRY. We've been a family-owned business serving the tri-state area since 1939. We specialize in foundation repair and basement waterproofing, and we're dedicated to service and 100% customer satisfaction. Call us today at 1-800-BERRY-DRY for a free estimate. J&D Waterproofing, serving the tri-state area for 71 years.
Train like a pro at Rev Pittsburgh, a new and unique facility in Western PA, offering physical therapy, strength training, and therapeutic massage. It's the one-stop shop in an athlete's care. Rev has the best in the business. Frank Velazquez, former Pittsburgh Pirates strength and conditioning coach, and Amy Slattery, expert physical therapist with World Wrestling Entertainment. Visit the Rev website, RevPGH.com. Rev Sports at 290 Executive Drive in Cranberry Township. Call us today at 724-591-8228. Let's go, Pittsburgh, and rev up your game.
12-2 run for St. Vincent, has them trailing by just a point. And after the turnover, the giveaway, though, to Ross Rankin. Rankin fouled hard from behind, and that's an intentional foul. J.C. Howard gets Rankin hard from behind with the foul. Rankin stays away as he's whisked away, actually, by his teammates before he could respond by chance. And so the intentional foul on J.C. Howard gives Rankin 2 free throws and Thomas More the basketball. Ross Rankin hits the first. A 72% free throw shooter on the year. Rankin, 6'2", senior guard out of Cincinnati, Ohio, hits both free throws. Sometimes those can be the toughest to hit.
Out there by yourself all alone. A little bit too much time to maybe think about it too, but he drilled both of them, and now the Saints will keep the basketball, looking to extend this to a 2-possession game.
Rankin with 4 points now. Sends it in to Brandon Housley. 43-40, and there's a steal by Ed Wright past the Stite, and he is stripped free of the ball, but a foul. D.P. Harris, the St. Vincent coach, petitioning for an intentional foul.
Like Stite was whacked across the face or forehead by Spencer Burlekamp.
The official right near the foul. He turns toward D.P. Harris, shakes his head no, and then a big smile on his face. I think he knew that D.P. Harris was trying his best to draw a call. Free throw, no good for Stite.
Basketball coach is trying to draw a call. That's never happened before.
Remains a 3-point lead for Thomas More. Second free throw drops true for Stite. He has 8. And now the full court pressure. And the giveaway. Grant Ladis stepping in front with the steal. Ladis wide open underneath. Lets a player sail by him. And off the window, the game is tied.
Ball movement. Klimchuk to Howard to Ladis. It's like he draw it up going the other way in transition.
Now Ladis started it, and he ended up finishing the play. Stite with the block on Richard. Rankin put back no good. Rankin tries to tip it out, but St. Vincent with the ball. Running the floor, Ed Wright, the lay-in, and it's a Bearcats 2-point lead.
Now you see the Bearcats getting out and running their own fast breaks. It was Thomas More in the first half using the transition game to their advantage, and now the Bearcats feeding off this crowd, running the floor.
And Ryan Ham trying to slow it up here. Just regain the momentum of your own. Bounce pass feeding Housley. Had great position there on Dylan Stite. And Stite charged for the foul, reaching around and over Brandon Housley. That's the third on Stite.
Hazen pipes back for the Saints. Ket back in for the Bearcats.
Well, as soon as Ed Wright hit that lay-in to give the Bearcats the 2-point lead, which currently sits, Ryan Ham, the senior, trying to settle his team. Right now, Ham on the bench is DeCarlo Hayes. And Ross Rankin right side. Bounce look to Richard. Richard tries to force his way into the paint. High shot, no good. Sean Kett with the good defense for St. Vincent. Rebound Stite. Ed Wright will lock it up the floor.
Richard and Kett bumping each other down there on the low block a moment ago. No call by the official, though.
Double team by Thomas More and a hard foul. Richard came up, and it was just the momentum that time. Barreled over Ed Wright. And Richard will accept his second foul of the day.
I think Ed Wright likes that sometimes, likes the contact. You'll see running back or players in football, when they get a big hit, they like to pop right up. They have a big smile on their face. Ed Wright will do that whenever he's taking it to the hole or a hard foul along the sidelines like that. Bounces up, clapping his hands.
And the folks familiar in the western Pennsylvania area have heard of Hines Ward, former Pittsburgh Steeler, very similar to Hines Ward. You give him a good stick, back up on his feet with a smile on his face. And that's what Ed Wright has displayed so far. 2-point lead for St. Vincent. Thomas More trying to tie it up. Under 14 minutes to play in regulation. Rankin for 3, and Thomas More back ahead, 46-45.
And I would say the people in Cincinnati area are aware of Hines Ward and his travels as well.
Yeah, the Thomas More folks watching this one, that's right, from the Cincinnati area, they're probably not as entertained by those antics of Hines Ward. Up and under lay-in by J.C. Howard gives the Bearcats the lead back 1-point advantage for St. Vincent, and a timeout on the floor with under 14 to play. We'll be back on the PAC Championship.
Hey, this is Don Hoder from the South Point Chamber of Commerce, and would like to invite you to be a part of the 280 companies that are directly and indirectly involved in the gas oil industry. Go to southpointchamber.com. That's southpointchamber.com, or call me. Let's have lunch. 724-873-7777.
St. Vincent with a 1-point advantage in the PAC Championship game. And now Thomas More wants a timeout. Jeff Rogers wants a full timeout. He's the reigning PAC Coach of the Year. And while we have the opportunity with the full timeout, might as well talk about one of the coaches of the year that we already know about, 2013. Coach Jeff Hands of the Thomas More Saints, the women's coach of the year. So congratulations to he and the Thomas More women in winning the PAC title earlier on today with a victory over the W&J Presidents. And they've had a tremendous year and hoping to do the conference proud in the NCAA tournament.
Lucky number 7 for them in a row. It's been a while since someone else besides the Saints have taken home the women's basketball crown. And veterans of the NCAA tournament, they'll go back with the automatic bid to capture that elusive national championship. We ranked number 1 a couple years ago, top seed in the tournament. Things fell a little bit short for them, so they're looking to get back and finish what they started a couple years ago.
Now, their only loss this season to what was at that time the top-ranked team of the nation. So I'd like to think that the Saints women should probably get a relatively nice seeding when the NCAA brackets are announced. But nonetheless, back to men's action here. It's a 1-point lead for St. Vincent over Thomas More, 47-46, as the Cary Center continues to literally hop up and down right now with the student body.
I'm going to have to replace those bleachers along the baseline after basketball season. They've taken a beating, especially in the last week.
Ross Rankin in the backcourt, lead pass ahead to DeCarlo Hayes in the forecourt. Hayes around the screen from Housley has Marshall. Marshall and Housley a little bit more quiet in the second half from what we saw in the first half. Rankin spin move inside. No good on the initial shot, and then a foul charged to Thomas More. That is on Marshall.
Yeah, Housley just had that opening basket of the second half. Marshall yet to score in the second half. It's been St. Vincent down low, doing good work in the paint, scoring the basketball.
Last Saturday, Thomas More rallied from a 16-point second-half deficit to force overtime. St. Vincent would eventually win that game in OT. These teams splitting the regular season series. Shot by Kett, no good. Loose ball. Rankin collects the rebound. Doesn't have the numbers as he'll angle top right point and then pass it off to Housley. And so far tonight, Thomas More with a 10-point lead that St. Vincent has rallied from, now for a 1-point advantage of their own. And a nice lay-in by DeCarlo Hayes gives the Saints a 1-point lead. DeCarlo Hayes with 9.
Yeah, we saw this before in the first half, both teams exchanging 1-point leads.
Sean Kett up top has Klimchak left side. Klimchak dribbles left, angles toward the bucket. Pass right wing for 3. No good back of the iron. And we've got a foul on the end of that play. Let's see, is that a shooting foul or after the shot?
It'll be a ball out of bounds.
So after the shot officially on that foul. You don't see that too often. Ed Wright, who was the man shooting that three-pointer, was watching carefully at the officials to see what the call would be. Perhaps he would garner some free throws, but not the case. Foul on Hayes, which is his 3rd. Keep an eye on that as we near the 12-minute mark. Pass errantly thrown toward Dylan Stith from Chris Klimchak, out of bounds. Elliot Pipes will send it in for Thomas More. Saints with the lead, 48-47. Bounce pass, Rankin to Marshall. Head fake, no good on the first try. Rebound tipped out, Isaac Turner with momentum leads the floor. Turner out to Stith, has Kett. Up top, back left side to Turner. Turner dribbles in, baseline area, shot hits the underside of the backboard. Rebound Pipes up ahead. Burlingame to Rankin. Beautiful bounce pass. Housley off the glass and good. 3-point lead for Thomas More. Brandon Housley a force. He has 16. The laner by Klimchak draws a foul from Thomas More on his numerical counterpart, Spencer Burlingame. Chris Klimchak, very good true shooter. It's 83% from the free throw line. Hits the first. Team leader in various categories. Chris Klimchak tops in steals with 45, tops in assists with 88 coming into today's play. The top three-point shooter. Klimchak's second free throw drops in. It's a one-point game again. So Klimchak in double digits with 10. Pressure defense from St. Vincent. Pipes wants a timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. 50-49. Thomas More leading the St. Vincent Bearcats. Well, the early pace of this contest was ebb and flow, seesaw. And now after we've had a couple of runs, a late run by Thomas More in the first half that was capped with the first bucket of the second half. Then St. Vincent answered with a 12-2 run to pull themselves within 1 point of Thomas More, and it's been back and forth ever since.
Well, St. Vincent has really tightened up down low, doing a better job of rebounding. Thomas More really hasn't done anything on the offensive side in the paint in the second half. They've been sort of forced to the outside again, and that's really where St. Vincent's been able to catch up. Bearcats doing a great job on the inside and getting out and running in transition a couple of times here in the second half. Something Thomas More did well in the first half, and the Bearcats are doing a better job getting back on defense.
PAC championship game, 1-point contest, nearing the 11-minute mark of the second half. Elliot Pipes has Ross Rankin, top left of the elbow. Pass right side now, swing it around. Burlingame, wild pass, nearly gives it away. Rankin corrals it, and then tipped out of bounds by St. Vincent.
Coach Harris wants Dylan Stith over the ball.
In case you couldn't tell over our crowd mic.
You got to have over the ball. 6'5", lanky arms. He can knock it out of bounds just like that. It's never fun trying to inbounds it over someone who's tall and has such a wingspan that Dylan Stith has.
And Dylan Stith, 6'5", but well, his wingspan makes him seemingly 10 feet tall. To beat the shot clock, Rankin hits the rim but does not hit the shot. Rebound, Grant Latus. 17 fouls on Thomas More in the second half, 3 on St. Vincent. Dylan Stith trying to create some space, but shot no good. Behind the back dribble, Rankin. Pass left, Elliot Pipes for 3. No good. Too strong. Rebound tipped about. Stith corrals it. Quick touch pass to Klimchak. Long distance pull-up three-pointer. Klimchak buries it. 52-50.
That's his shot. Pull-up 3 on the fast break. Seen Chris Klimchak do that a number of times.
To answer, Burlingame, no good. Klimchak pulls in that rebound into his chest. Long ball pass to Stith, or excuse me, to Turner. Caroms to Stith, and a foul. Now, last year for the PAC championship game, we were at the Hummel Fieldhouse in Bethany, West Virginia. Similar atmosphere here tonight at the Carey Center. PAC championship game 2013, and it is a tight one. 2-point lead for St. Vincent. Stith to try and add on. Nothing but net on the first. Dylan Stith out of Bedford, Virginia, and Liberty High School. Under 10 minutes to play. Stith, deep breath, second free throw. Also falls through. Stith now in double digits with 10. And the lead is 54-50, St. Vincent. And a pass headed in our direction. Ryan Ham will reel it in. Angles to the right. Ham has Joseph Marshall. Pull up move. Oh, hard foul by Grant Ladis. Throws Marshall down. Marshall still on his back. And he is wincing. The grimace on his face. Up to his feet. And he'll get 2 free throws. We saw an intentional foul earlier on in this half on J.C. Howard. No intentional this time around, but dangerously close to it.
Well, Marshall got Ladis up in the air and had him in a bad way off balance. Luckily, both players are okay. Sometimes you get a player up in the air and then the offensive player will duck under and cause it kind of undercut the defensive player.
Marshall misses on the first attempt. Joseph Marshall, 79% free throw shooter, has 10 points tonight. None thus far in the second half. Housley and Marshall combined for 22 points in the first half. Combined in the second half, they have 4. Make it now 5 as Marshall hits on the second free throw attempt. 3-point game. Ed Wright. Pass right side to Grant Ladis. Now it's Turner. Shot partially blocked. Sean Kett gets the rebound underneath and finds enough room for the bucket. 5-point lead for St. Vincent. Sean Kett with 4 points tonight. Bounce pass tipped out of bounds by Ed Wright. Chris Klimchak re-enters for Ed Wright. 9 minutes to go in the PAC championship. This one far from over. Mumford pass left to Ham. Ball out of bounds. Right in front of Coach Jeff Rogers of the Thomas More Saints. Ham will take a seat. You can hear the Carey Center with the Bearcats leading by 5. Kett has some space, dribbles in on Jalen Clark. Lob shot no good. Tip in by Grant Ladis. 58-51, St. Vincent's largest lead of the game.
He's got soft hands down low for a big guy. Nice tip in, Grant Ladis.
DeCarlo Hayes tries to split a double team but loses the basketball. And then Mumford, like a hockey goalie, trying to stretch out for a kick save. Kick ball, arrow. Assuming the possession will be with St. Vincent. And we have a media timeout. 58-51, St. Vincent. We'll be back on the PAC championship game, PAC Sports Network.
Disability affects the lives of over 29,000 people in Fayette, Washington, and Greene counties. Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living are people with and without disabilities working to meet those needs in the community. The success of Triple comes from the commitment of a dedicated board of directors, its members, and volunteers. To continue to improve services, Triple is renovating the historical YWCA building located at 42 West Maiden Street in Washington. This will allow for an assistive internet cafe, increased veteran services, and transportation and wellness to provide skills to help with independent living. Your help and feedback are appreciated, and if you seek assistance, we're here to help.
Timeout at the Carey Center, 58-51, St. Vincent leading. And this one has been exciting from the very outset of the contest. St. Vincent will have the basketball. Kickball called on Elliot Pipes as he stretched out, trying to get to that ball on the floor. As he and Klimchak battling for it. So Thomas More with the kickball. And it's St. Vincent possession. Klimchak guarded tightly by Burlekamp. Dribble his way in. Fouled on the floor. The St. Vincent bench, once the and one, they won't get it. Foul on the floor. And Klimchak, after he was fouled, it was a good 2 or 3 seconds after he got that bucket. So 1-and-1 here for Chris Klimchak at the line, as that is the 9th team foul on Thomas More. 8:05 to go. First one drops through. He'll earn a second.
Foul situation right now, definitely something to keep an eye on. Next foul on Thomas More will be the 10th team foul.
Another free throw for Klimchak, and the lead has swelled to 9 now for St. Vincent. Largest lead for the Bearcats. Thomas More held a 10-point lead to start the second half, 38-28. Ross Rankin. Bounce past the Marshall. Marshall trying to angle his way in, and he does so. Nicely done by Joseph Marshall. 60-53. Now that's what Thomas More used to great success in the first half. Great positioning by Joseph Marshall and Brandon Housley. Here's Sean Kett. Pass left side, touch pass Howard, swing it around to Klimchak. Right of the elbow. Left to Turner. Turner with the runner, falls in. Back to a 9-point lead for St. Vincent.
Saw Turner do a lot of that against W&J Thursday night, this time with the right hand.
7 minutes to go for a PAC crown. To Carlo Hayes. To Burlekamp up top. Marshall is fouled. Several players reaching in there for St. Vincent.
Maybe Grant Latus. If it is, it's his third.
St. Vincent foul
and it is.
Yep, 3 fouls on Latus, as Justin mentioned. 15 foul on the Bearcats. Arrow belongs with St. Vincent. 9 team fouls on the Saints. 6:51 to go. Inbounds pass to Burlekamp left corner. Rankin up top again to Burlekamp, who slides right with the dribble. Has Hayes to Burlekamp. Goes right to Hayes. Housley, touch pass. Marshall, head fake, gets the bucket and one.
Marshall's used that head fake. Great success here in the second half. We saw him get Latus up in the air a moment ago. There was Sean Kett flying through the air. Just a little head fake, cleared the defender, and then lay it up and in.
Joseph Marshall, who averages 6 points per game, he's got 15 and counting. Make it 16. Well, who will step up in the PAC championship? Joseph Marshall raises his hand for Thomas More. And St. Vincent, guys like Isaac Turner and Chris Klimchak. And there is Turner. Raises his hand. 64-56 St. Vincent.
He's behind the basket when that one went in. Reached around with the left arm. Flicked that one in the hoop.
To Carlo Hayes, dribbles into traffic. We have a tie-up or a blocking foul. We have a foul on Turner. That's the second for Turner. But now in bonus situations. 1-and-1 opportunity for DeCarlo Hayes. And flashback to last Saturday. This is where DeCarlo Hayes made his money from the charity stripe, and he does so again. 64-57 now. Hayes in double digits. He has 10. Hayes last Saturday against St. Vincent with 29 points. Majority of that from the charity stripe.
Isaac Turner getting looked at real quick. A little blood on his arm.
And blood on the left forearm. Actually, blood on the left elbow. So he gets some quick attention. The St. Vincent bench area. DP Harris closely looking on. Very close to our broadcast perspective as well on the PAC Sports Network. 64-57 in the title game. 6:12 to go. And now that Turner has been bandaged up, they'll resume action. Hayes do another free throw. Hayes a 77% free throw shooter. The product out of Louisville, Kentucky. Knocks down the second shot as well.
Checking in for the Bearcats, number 4, Ed Wright.
6-point game as Ed Wright re-enters for St. Vincent. Isaac Turner pinned to the sideline. Steal by Joseph Marshall. Marshall then is fouled by St. Vincent. Boy, Turner was in a bad way. Pinned to the left sideline right in front of the Thomas More bench. And Joseph Marshall, he'll get a 1-and-1 opportunity.
This game's starting to look like the game last Saturday, coming down the free throws down the stretch. Thomas More, 9 team fouls, St. Vincent 18 fouls, so you know they're going to play a factor in the last 6 minutes.
Marshall's try rattles out. St. Vincent in possession, leading by 6. Klimchak passes it left, and he is fouled by Ross Rankin. And 2-shot bonus now for St. Vincent. Second foul on Rankin.
Wrong guy to foul, too, for a 2-shot opportunity.
Klimchak drains the first opportunity. He has 16 points. And another. Klimchak with 17. DP Harris wants a timeout. We'll take a quick break as well. Under 6 minutes to play in the PAC Championship game. Bearcats in front. We'll be right back on the PAC Sports Network.
Train like a pro at Rev Pittsburgh, a new and unique facility in Western PA, offering physical therapy, strength training, and therapeutic massage. It's the one-stop shop in an athlete's care. Rev has the best in the business. Frank Velazquez, former Pittsburgh Pirates strength and conditioning coach, and Amy Slattery, expert physical therapist with World Wrestling Entertainment. Visit the Rev website, revpgh.com. Rev Sports at 290 Executive Drive in Cranberry Township. Call us today at 724-591-8228. Let's go, Pittsburgh, and rev up your game.
PAC Championship game, another exciting contest on the PAC Sports Network. We'd love to thank our sponsors right here while we have an opportunity. Triple Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living, J&D Waterproofing, the Washington Wild Things, South Point Chamber of Commerce, and Rev Sports Rehab. Without all of those folks, we cannot make these broadcasts possible, so big thank you to them. Of course, big thank you as well to Joe Onderko and Kevin Fenstermacher of the President's Athletic Conference for helping make this happen as well. Without them, this could not occur. So it is a 66-58 lead for St. Vincent out of the timeout. Trying to conserve some time, Burlekamp picks the ball up around midcourt. And dribbling into Carlo Hayes, shot denied by Sean Kett. Dylan Stith will run with it. Doesn't have the numbers, but Stith with the lay-in between 3 defenders. 10-point lead for St. Vincent, their largest lead of the game.
Man, Stith hung in the air forever there. I thought he took off too early and just kind of glided to the hoop to lay it in.
Dylan Stith levitating. Marshall can't answer, trying to get his own rebound, cannot. Here comes Stith again. Sidesteps Hayes, spins around a man. Now the defense catches up to him. Lead pass for Klimchak. Cross court, Kett dribbles in a few steps up top to Ed Wright. St. Vincent has the luxury with a 10-point lead to take their time somewhat. 20 on the shot clock. Dylan Stith has Kett. Thomas More trying to step up their defense and trim this lead down. They need a stop here. Klimchak off the side of the backboard. Joseph Marshall is fouled. Charge this one to Ed Wright, his fourth. So 4 for number 4. Thomas More enjoys this opportunity to try and get points on the scoreboard with the clock stop. 4:44 to go. Michael Rowan awaits near the scorer's table for Thomas More to re-enter the game. Joseph Marshall drains the front end of the 1-and-1. 9 team fouls on St. Vincent, so for the rest of the game, both teams will be in the double bonus. Eight-point ball game. Marshall 2 for 2 on that trip to the line. He has 18 points. Ed Wright. Lead pass right out of bounds. Miscommunication between Wright and Isaac Turner. That draws displeasure from D.P. Harris to our right from our broadcast perspective down on the floor. Inbounds pass to Burleycamp. 8-point ball game. Saints trying to repeat a comeback effort from last Saturday here at the Carey Center in regulation. Housley, no good. Turner collects the rebound. Sidesteps traffic and now has Klimchak behind the back dribble into the forecourt. 4:20 to go.
They'll take their time. No quick shots here from the Bearcats. They'll just work it around.
Pass to Ed Wright. Around Ryan Ham. Swinging around. Klimchak wide open for 3. Can't leave Chris Klimchak that wide open. And he has 20 points. Chris Klimchak has elevated the Bearcats to an 11-point lead. 71-60, full time out from the Carey Center. We'll be right back. PAC Championship game on the PAC Sports Network.
Hey, this is Don Hoder from the South Point Chamber of Commerce and would like to invite you to be a part of the 280 companies that are directly and indirectly involved in the gas oil industry. Go to southpointchamber.com. That's southpointchamber.com, or call me. Let's have lunch. 724-873-7777.
Hi, I'm John Williams, Superintendent of J&D Waterproofing. If you have bowed or cracked walls due to water seepage in your basement, give us a call at 1-800-VERY-DRY. We've been a family-owned business serving the tri-state area since 1939. We specialize in foundation repair and basement waterproofing, and we're dedicated to service and 100% customer satisfaction. Call us today at 1-800-VERY-DRY for a free estimate. J&D Waterproofing, serving the tri-state area for 71 years.
Three-point shot by Chris Klimchak before the timeout has given the Bearcats an 11-point lead. Thomas More last week whittled down what was a 16-point second-half lead for St. Vincent to eventually force overtime, and it was this man, DeCarlo Hayes, who collects the bucket right there, who helped force OT for Thomas More. And now a timeout for Ed Wright. Could not get that inbounds pass in.
Now it looks like they called a 5-second violation before that timeout.
Oh, you're right.
Off.
Oh, wow. And Ed Wright, he is surprised. So 5-second violation. So no timeout for Wright. Basketball belongs to the Saints. 9-point deficit, 71-62. Hayes accepts the inbounds pass.
See if Thomas More can cash in here. Really haven't hit it all from beyond the arc. That's been their bread and butter all season.
Housley near the free throw line, out to Burleycamp. Back to Housley. Shot swatted away by Dylan Stite. Isaac Turner surveys the floor and then will slow it up. Wise move by Isaac Turner with the current lead and time remaining in the game. Ed Wright passing to Chris Klimchuk. Guarded by Burleycamp. Dribbles left, double team on him. Dylan Stite, pass left to Ed Wright, 8 on the shot clock. Wright slices through the lane from a tough angle off the window, and there's that big smile from Ed Wright after the bucket. 73-62, under 3 minutes to play. And after a timeout called by Jeff Rogers, I believe. No, we have a foul. My apologies. Offensive foul on Brandon Housley. Offensive foul. And Coach Jeff Rogers will give it to the officials now as he's displeased with that most recent call. Nonetheless, roughest life is to be an official because no matter what, somebody's mad at you.
Yeah, it's tough to call a championship game, especially a game this intense, this physical. Physicality's picked up here in the second half. We saw a couple of players get banged up for both teams hit the ground or hit the floor hard throughout this ball game. So real intense effort by St. Vincent and Thomas More. Right now the Bearcats are nursing this 11-point lead.
3 fouls on Housley after that offensive foul. And down here on the floor, we have the pleasure of being able to listen to the comments from both benches, and that's why we're so knowledgeable in terms of finding out the displeasure of the coaches. And you can go through any game. The officials always take a hard time.
Love being down on the floor, especially when you have some of the more colorful coaches.
Oh yeah,
in the conference.
Now St. Vincent right now leading by 11. In the Carey Center, hoping that they are just 2 minutes and 42 seconds away from a PAC championship. Thomas More, of course, with other thoughts in mind. And there's a steal by Ross Rankin. Pull up three-point jump shot. Rankin no good. Rebound tipped around and eventually to Isaac Turner.
We'll see this full court pressure pretty much the rest of the game from Thomas More.
Have to. Thomas More in a bad way right now, trailing by 11. And Klimchuk bumped to the floor by Housley. Now you mentioned this earlier. Klimchuk not the man you want to foul, putting him to the line. 4th on Housley, also something else to keep tabs on. .2:16 to play in the PAC championship game. Klimchuk drains the first. He has 21 this evening to lead all scores. Isaac Turner has 16. As Klimchuk knocks down another. Give him 22. The product out of Greensburg-Salem High School. Nearby, not all that far away from Latrobe, PA. 13-point lead for St. Vincent. Nearing the 2-minute mark. DeCarlo Hayes spins into the lane, loses handle of the basketball, and then off the back of Dylan Stite. Fortunate carom for DeCarlo Hayes.
I think if you're Stite in that situation, just go straight up. You don't need to go up in the air and commit a foul in that situation.
Ham to inbound. Long ball pass into the backcourt to Hayes. Burleycamp. Intended pass for Hayes, but Klimchuk steps in front for the steal. Has Howard in numbers. Howard fouled hard. He'll shoot 2. Foul on DeCarlo Hayes, his 4th. And things now starting to slip away for Thomas More. The Saints had a 38-28 lead to open the second half. The opening bucket of the half by Brandon Housley. After that, the Bearcats roared back, and now with a hefty 76-62 lead with under 2 to play.
Especially if they can knock down these free throws. They'll have some big free throws coming up. Thomas More has to foul nearly every possession if they want to come back in this game. Try to prolong this game if you're the Saints.
Do everything you possibly can if you're Thomas More. As J.C. Howard at the charity stripe. Connects on the free throw. 2 for 2 on that trip to the line. J.C. Howard with 7. And Hayes fouled, and Klimchak, that time he grimaces, not because he's in pain, because he did not want to commit that foul reaching out.
Yeah, bad foul. That far away from the hoop in this situation, and just 5 seconds into the shot clock.
No good for DeCarlo Hayes.
Head right into the game for Grant Ladis. Ladis not the best free throw shooter in the world. Right where we'll place him.
DeCarlo Hayes' second attempt. And it's 77-63. Hayes with 14. Ed Wright successful on the inbounds pass. J.C. Howard trying to create some space as Klimchak weaves through in the backcourt. Ball tipped out of bounds by Hayes.
Klimchak's hit the ground hard the last couple possessions. Paying a price with his body.
Ed Wright finds Klimchak. Backcourt, return pass to Wright with 1:37 and counting. Klimchak. The Bearcats in front, 77-63. All alone, Ed Wright off the glass. 79-63, St. Vincent.
Just about to say, I don't think Klimchak's going to give up this basketball unless there's a layup opportunity. And there was the lay-in.
Waning moments of the game in the hopes of Thomas More waning as well. Ryan Ham, the follow, cuts the deficit to 79-65. Ed Wright fouled by Al Upshaw, 5'11" junior. So first foul on Upshaw. And again, every trip to the free throw line, 2 shots.
Number 4, Ed Wright.
Wright 68% from the free throw line. 2 shots upcoming.
Ed Wright rattles in the first. 15-point lead for St. Vincent. Armani Fontaine re-enters as Isaac Turner. Big hug from Grant Ladis and several others. Wright successful on the second free throw attempt. He has 8 points and a full timeout. We'll take a quick break. PAC Championship on the PAC Sports Network. Inbounds pass by Thomas More with 1 minute to play. DeCarlo Hayes for 3. Back of the iron. Long board goes to Ed Wright. Bearcats. Ed Wright with a carry. Turnover. Ball back to Thomas More.
He looked right There was no pass there, and then looked left, and by that time he had carried the basketball.
16-point lead for St. Vincent. DeCarlo Hayes, right-handed lay-in, will not fall in. Rebound Ethan King, and then he is fouled. 41.7 to go in this championship game. And the home crowd here at St. Vincent at the Carey Center. We're waiting for the final 41 to tick down. Tall order right now for Thomas More to try and complete a comeback of this magnitude with the amount of time remaining. Ethan King hits both free throws. Makes it 81-67. Surely the Saints will not go down without a fight, though. You can be certain of that under Coach Jeff Rogers. Ed Wright with 31 seconds. Pass to Howard. 20 on the shot clock. Bearcats will take their time. Ed Wright in some space will just circle out, and both teams calling off the dogs now. The St. Vincent Bearcats closing in. 12 seconds on the game clock, 5 on the shot clock. Klimchuk throws up a shot, does not hit the rim. Now the home crowd, they're ready to storm the floor, but they have to wait 4 seconds, 4.4. Ross Renkin will inbound it with some of the administration here at St. Vincent trying to redirect the student body. Several others checking in. This PAC championship game. Some freshmen will be on the floor once this one goes final. It's gymnasium ready to erupt. Thomas More dejected right now as they know what's coming in the next 4.4 seconds. Distraught, valiant effort by Thomas More. But as Ryan Ham picks up the basketball, we have a quick timeout. Thomas More calls the timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout. We'll, of course, keep it right here, delaying the inevitable right now.
I think this crowd is loving the situation. I think these guys would stay here all night if they could. There's been something special at the Carey Center the last week or so. Last week they had the Twitter hashtag Cram the Carey, and that really took off, and that was the first one of the Cram the Carey, and this is the fourth one. They had the regular season finale. They had Tuesday night, the opening game of the PAC tournament, and then the semifinals Thursday night against W&J, and then this has been the biggest showing by the students this year here.
Most of the folks here on their feet. 3-point try by Ham, no good. And the St. Vincent Bearcats, the 2013 PAC champions. And let the picture tell the story.
They're a little excited right now.
The students storm the floor. The Bearcats and Saints, meanwhile, behind the scene, shaking hands. Congratulations around. Again, a valiant effort by the Thomas More Saints tonight. Last week, they were able to come from behind and force overtime. This time around in the PAC championship, unable to repeat that performance. St. Vincent, the PAC champions.
Getting that important automatic berth into the NCAA tournament.
And as we were talking with Kevin Fenstermacher, Assistant Commissioner of the President's Athletic Conference at halftime, it may not be a completion to the season yet for Thomas More. They'll have their eye on the NCAA brackets when they are released very soon.
And from an at-large perspective, though, St. Vincent knows where they're going. NCAA tournament bound with the automatic bid. Congratulations to Coach Harris and the Bearcats.
Job well done, the St. Vincent Bearcats, the PAC champions. Isaac Turner being raised up into the air by his teammates. And everyone celebrating this one, enjoying the moment at the Carey Center. And if you are a Bearcat, how could you not? Chris Klimchuk, Dylan Stite, all raised up As you hear the chant, SVC, St. Vincent College, 81-67 winners over the Thomas More Saints. Coming up, we'll have a presentation of the championship trophy by Kevin Fenstermacher to the new champions, the St. Vincent Bearcats. And that'll be coming up momentarily. While we have a moment here, we'll take a break. Again, St. Vincent, the PAC champions, victorious 81-67 over the Thomas More Saints. Don't go away. We still have our South Point Chamber of Commerce Player of the Game to hand out, as well as a celebration or the presentation of the championship trophy. And we'll be right back on the PAC Sports Network.
Train like a pro at Rev Pittsburgh, a new and unique facility in Western PA, offering physical therapy, strength training, and therapeutic massage. It's the one-stop shop in an athlete's care. Rev has the best in the business. Frank Velazquez, former Pittsburgh Pirates strength and conditioning coach, and Amy Slattery, expert physical therapist with World Wrestling Entertainment. Visit the Rev website, RevPGH.com. Rev Sports at 290 Executive Drive in Cranberry Township. Call us today at 724-591-8228. Let's go, Pittsburgh, and rev up your game. Disability affects the lives of over 29,000 people in Fayette, Washington, and Greene counties. Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living are people with and without disabilities working to meet those needs in the community. The success of Triple comes from the commitment of a dedicated board of directors, its members, and volunteers. To continue to improve services, Triple is renovating the historical YWCA building located at 42 West Maiden Street in Washington. This will allow for an assistive internet cafe, increased veteran services, and transportation and wellness to provide skills to help with independent living. Your help and feedback are appreciated, and if you seek assistance, we're here to help.
Welcome back to the Carey Center. As some of the folks here having to clear the floor, is Assistant Commissioner Kevin Fenstermacher will hand over the PAC Championship trophy to the new champions, the St. Vincent Bearcats. And photos, as you can very well see at half court, taking place right now. Job well done by the Bearcats. A tremendous season, 23-5 record, and the beat goes on to the NCAA tournament.
It'll be interesting to see when the brackets come out, where they're headed, who they're facing.
81-67 winners, the Bearcats tonight over Thomas More. The Saints had a 10-point lead to open the second half at 38-28 on an instantaneous bucket by Brandon Housley. But from that point on, the Bearcats roared from behind and then some, winning 81-67. And there you have it. The PAC champions continue their celebration. And we're hoping here that in a few moments we'll be able to hopefully corral some folks over to the microphone and talk with some of the Bearcats. While the Bearcats continue their celebration, Justin Piles, our South Point Chamber of Commerce Player of the Game. Valiant efforts by Thomas Moore's Joseph Marshall with 18 points, Brandon Housley with 16, DeCarlo Hayes with 14. But our Player of the Game will be one of the St. Vincent Bearcats, as some of the folks here asking for Justin Piles' autograph, I think.
I think they were just asking me for a pen.
Oh. I thought they wanted a pen for your autograph. Nonetheless, back to the business. St. Vincent, those in double digits. Chris Klimchak with 22, Isaac Turner with 16, Grant Ladis with 12, Dylan Stith with 10. But today, our South Point Chamber of Commerce Player of the Game in the PAC Championship game is Chris Klimchak.
Chris Klimchak, 22 points, 8-8 from the free throw line, 4 of 6 from downtown. Just all around, he's been the heart and soul of Bearcats all year. Stepped it up when they needed a big second half comeback. He was the one knocking down big shot after big shot for the Bearcats. Right now doing a little net cutting down at the far end from us. But congratulations, Chris Klimchak, our South Point Chamber of Commerce Player of the Game.
So the PAC champion, St. Vincent, cutting down the net. I'll tell you what, while that continues on, we're going to try and rally up some folks here. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back on the PAC Sports Network.
Hi, I'm John Williams, Superintendent of J&D Waterproofing. If you have bowed or cracked walls due to water seepage in your basement, give us a call at 1-800-BERRY-DRY. We've been a family-owned business serving the tri-state area since 1939. We specialize in foundation repair and basement waterproofing, and we're dedicated to service and 100% customer satisfaction. Call us today at 1-800-BERRY-DRY for a free estimate. J&D Waterproofing, serving the tri-state area for 71 years.
Train like a pro at Rev Pittsburgh, a new and unique facility in Western PA, offering physical therapy, strength training, and therapeutic massage. It's the one-stop shop in an athlete's care. Rev has the best in the business. Frank Velazquez, former Pittsburgh Pirates strength and conditioning coach, and Amy Slattery, expert physical therapist with World Wrestling Entertainment. Visit the Rev website, RevPGH.com. Rev Sports at 290 Executive Drive in Cranberry Township. Call us today at 724-591-8228. Let's go, Pittsburgh, and rev up your game.
Welcome back to the Carey Center. St. Vincent Bearcats, the 2013 PAC champions. We stand by now with D.P. Harris, the head coach of the Bearcats. Congratulations. How's it feel?
It feels great. I'm happy for the kids. You know, I thought our guys did a great job. I thought we could have folded our tents at halftime, but they, you know, the crowd was here. They did a great job. I thought there was a lot of excitement, and this is what college basketball is about.
Well, you mentioned halftime. Brandon Housley with the first bucket of the second half gave Thomas More a 10-point lead. Talk about your troops and their rallying effort, and not only did they storm back, but they grabbed the lead and just continued on with it.
You know, we've been in tough games all year, but I thought our guys just really hit a spurt and made a run. And in championship play and all college, it's a game of runs. It's a game of runs, and you just have to do what you have to do to win. And our guys came up with big plays. They got 50-50 balls, and they made shots.
I'll ask you about some of your players here in a moment, but cram the carry has been the saying over the past week or so. And what can you say about the student body? They've been here. Great home court advantage.
I think for a lot of years, we've had a great student section. And going through that transition into NAIA, one of our former players who's an All-American, Kenny Roberts, when he walked in, he said, "I'm home." And I thought they brought it back. And I think we have one of the best small college environments in the country. And hopefully we get an opportunity to host an NCAA game.
Chris Klimchak was our South Point Chamber of Commerce player of the game. Obviously a great team effort by your Bearcats today, but Chris Klimchak got it done at the free throw line, 8 for 8 today, 22 points. How nice has it been to have Chris Klimchak in the performance that he put forth for you tonight?
Well, I think Chris is, if not the player, the two best players on the court this year were Hayes and Chris, and certainly we feel very strongly about it. But Chris was just solid. He rushed a little bit in the first part of the game, but you know, Chris came out, and Chris was Chris. He's a gamer. He loves to win.
An NCAA tournament coming up next. I know you mentioned you're hoping that perhaps the Bearcats can host an NCAA tournament game, but nonetheless, obviously you don't know who you're going to face, but what are you looking for come tournament time?
Just the consistent effort that we've had, and just keep it going. We're going to take a few days off and you know, just see where we are. We need some rest. It's been a tough week for coaches and players. I got two of the best assistant coaches. They've slept about 3 hours this week.
D.P. Harris, head coach of the St. Vincent Bearcats, the PAC champions. Thanks so much for stopping by here. I know obviously a lot of celebration to be had. Go enjoy it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Again, that's D.P. Harris, the head coach of the St. Vincent Bearcats. Winners tonight, 81-67 over the Thomas More Saints. Well, Justin Piles rustles us up another potential interview. The folks continue to celebrate at the Carey Center. We'll pause for another break. We'll be back on the PAC Sports Network. PAC championship game going final. St. Vincent 81-67 over Thomas More. And we're rejoined by Justin Piles for the time being. We'll see if we can squeeze in one more interview. If not, we'll call it a day. But Sean King, the assistant SID, doing his best to see if he can help us out, collect at least one player here from St. Vincent to talk about the championship victory. But talking with DP Harris, he talked about the Bearcats and their abilities to come from behind. Of course, at halftime, down by 8, and then Brandon Housley with the first bucket to start the second half to make it a 10-point lead for Thomas More. And St. Vincent, they've been in their fair share of tight ball games this year. It's never easy for St. Vincent, it seems like, but every time they're caught up in a tight game, they somehow pull it off, and they did tonight. It was tight for quite a while. Obviously, I'd say the final score doesn't truly indicate how close this game was, the back-and-forth pace, but St. Vincent, once again, gets it done.
Yeah, dealt with adversity all season and in the conference tournament. Had a rough ball game with Waynesburg. Then we're down in the second half to W&J, very good W&J team, and then rallying back here in the second half again. It's almost like they want to do that. They enjoy that adversity and fighting back, and they've made their living on, especially in the tournament here, doing a great job, showing nice resiliency. DP Harris's bunch is a tough bunch, and will certainly be a tough out in the NCAA tournament. I think they can do a whole bunch of different things inside and outside. And, it always depends on matchup, what team you're matched up against, but they're certainly equipped for a tournament run.
Adjustments from halftime into the second half. We talked about looking at the first half stats, how Thomas More had a distinct advantage in rebounding and also points at the paint. By game's end, rebounds still favored Thomas More, but only a 2-rebound edge, 37-35. Points in the paint even at 40 apiece. There's really your difference in the second half. You talked about it from the outset in our pregame, getting the ball to the guys inside for St. Vincent from their perspective, and they were able to get it done in the second half.
Yeah, just as halftime adjustments, working the ball back inside. It really was the success last Saturday for them, and able to do it again here.
So Chris Klimchak was our South Point Chamber of Commerce player of the game, and the celebration continues on here at the Carey Center. And I know some of the folks trying to rally up one interview. And it looks like we're going to have, we're going to have Isaac Turner join us here momentarily. So I'll ask Justin Piles to hop off the mic here real quick. And Isaac Turner joins us now with the headset on, and member of the PAC champions, the St. Vincent Bearcats, 81-67 winners today. Isaac Turner, congratulations, and tell us about what the emotions are like right now.
Man, I can't even describe it. This is the biggest game that I've played in since I can remember, and I'm just so happy that we got a championship for our seniors and for our team. That's all I can say, man. I'm so happy right now.
A back-and-forth game really throughout. The Bearcats were down by 10 early in the second half and rumbled back not only for the lead, but to pull away late. First go back to around halftime. It was an 8-point deficit at the half. What was the message by DP Harris at that point?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. In the locker room at halftime, he got into us. He really did. He fired us up, and we came out. We knew what we had to do in the second half to take the lead and to hold it eventually. So.
And then once you were able to get close, tie the game, take the lead, and then pull away, you talk about basically what adjustments you guys made from the first half to the second half. We talked about from a statistics standpoint where the inside game, rebounding and points in the paint, distinct edge for Thomas More at halftime, but ended up nearly even, actually exactly even points in the paint at by game's end, and then rebounds very close, so just a 2-rebound edge for Thomas More by game's end. What adjustments did you guys make to succeed then on the inside?
I mean, it was all effort. I mean, rebounding is effort, and we knew that we all had to make an effort to go inside and to box out and to rebound well, and that's what we did. Our guards had to help the big men, and that's what we did.
Not only tonight did you have an excellent game, 16 points for you tonight, but you came up big in the semifinals against W&J. Talk about this run that St. Vincent has had. Every game has been tough. It's never easy for St. Vincent, but you always manage to overcome adversity and come away with a victory. How has St. Vincent been able to get it done? And again, talking from your personal perspective, what's it been like for you in this tournament run?
I would say it all comes down to our will to win. We wanted to do it for the seniors, and we wanted to do it for the coaches. this was our main goal from the beginning, and for me, it's been amazing. I mean, I can't even describe how happy I've been with the way I've been playing, and I'm just doing it for the team, really. It's all about the team, and all that matters is winning. So.
And the march goes on to the NCAA tournament now. How excited are you for that?
I cannot wait. That's all I can think about now, man. I'm gonna enjoy this night, and I'm gonna enjoy tomorrow, and then we're focusing on Monday for the NCAA tournament.
Well, you get out of here and celebrate. Congratulations,
right.
Isaac Turner, the St. Vincent Bearcats, the champions of the President's Athletic Conference, 81-67 winners over the Thomas More Saints. And thanks again, Isaac. We'll bring Justin Powles back in here, and we're going to wrap this one up. The Thomas More Saints falling to St. Vincent tonight, 81-67. And Justin, basically before we wrap this one up, any parting thoughts?
This was a fantastic end of the year. Love the crowd. Great basketball game out here as well. Two great teams like we've been rehashing over. But it's end of the conference season, now on to the national tournament. It's great fun with you again this year, doing the games for the conference, a weekly game. Traveling around to different schools, talking with different people, the coaches, players, SIDs. Thanks again to Joe Onderico, Kevin Fenstermacher, everybody who helped put this thing together. It's been great. Hopefully we're back here again next year doing this.
Absolutely. And again, a thank you to our sponsors, Triple, Tri-County Patriots for Independent Living, J&D Waterproofing, the Washington Wild Things, South Point Chamber of Commerce, and Rev Sports Rehab. Also, a big thank you to two of the folks that have been a part of this quite a bit but aren't here tonight, unfortunately, Kat Guyan and also John Rudder. Big thank you to them for their help throughout the season. Also, Don Sluka filling in tonight, working the camera. He's filled in a couple of times this year, so thanks to him. And, of course, David Singer, our producer, as he puts together all of our commercials, handles the graphics, and does a fantastic job. So thanks to everyone involved, and Justin, thank you as well. It's been fun and looking forward to more.
Absolutely. Well said.
Now St. Vincent 81-67, PAC champions, victorious over the Thomas More Saints. And again, congratulations to the Bearcats as they move on to the NCAA tournament. Congratulations to the Thomas More women as they are in the NCAA tournament on the women's side. And who knows, the Thomas More men may join them. We'll see what the NCAA tournament and their committee, what the NCAA's committee will say about that coming up once the brackets are dissected and announced very shortly. So a big thank you to everyone involved. Of course, the home folks here at the Carey Center for setting us up courtside. As it's been a tremendous season and a tremendous PAC championship game tonight. 81-67, Bearcats over the Saints. St. Vincent, the 2013 PAC champions. For everyone involved, I'm Randy Gore. We will bid you a good night on the PAC Sports Network.